Google just changed how we search forever with AI mode, and most people don't even know it exists yet. In this video, we're going to go into what Google AI mode is, how it works behind the scenes, how you can access it right now, and then what it means for search results, how people search, SEO, local businesses. We'll touch on all of that. Let's dive in. All right, so first, what is Google AI mode? So you have traditional search, which everyone's very familiar with, where you type in a query and then you get a list of links back. And Google has added, they've added ads to search results, they've added videos, they've added, people also ask queries, but everyone's familiar with, you type in best phone camera 2025, and then you'll get ads, you'll get, links to other websites. And then you have to click on those links and you go to the website, and then you might need to do additional searches to kind of really narrow in on what you want. With AI mode, you type in a search query. Normally it will be a little bit more conversational. That's one of the ways that this is changing search. And then you'll get an AI answer that you can then ask follow-up questions on. It gives advanced reasoning. It pulls in more information. And on one hand, it keeps you typically more on Google as opposed to going out to different websites, which is one of the big impacts that it's having on the SEO industry. So let's keep moving forward. So I want to touch on quickly the difference between AI mode and AI overviews. So on a traditional search now, probably close to half the time, I think it's about 42% of the time, you will get an AI overview, which is basically a mini version of AI mode. But it's going to give you an AI overview. It's going to have sources to other content. But then below that you'll have the traditional search results. But the AI overview is just this, as opposed to AI mode, where that AI mode is the search experience. If you use ChatGPT or Claude or Perplexity or any of those, this is basically Google's version of that. I'd say one of the bigger differences is Google has so much history and data that they are able to pull from. They're probably in the best position of anybody to continue to build this out. So the AI overview, though, that'll summarize information. It'll be a little bit more condensed. The AI mode allows it interprets and connects dots more. It can get more complex. You can ask follow-up conversations. There's a bit more that you can do with that. Moving on, I want to touch on quickly how it works because it's really interesting. Google, they call it a query fan out. And so basically in a traditional search, it just runs one search. In AI mode, it's running multiple searches at the same time. And it's looking at website content, knowledge graph information, shopping data. It's using Gemini 2.5 for their advanced AI reasoning. And it's pulling all of that together to then give you your response. And so if we were to go to AI mode here and type in best phone camera 2025, it's kicking off 7 searches at the same time. It's looking at different sites. It's getting info from shopping, and then it pulls all of that together to then give you your AI overview, where it's giving you top choices. If I click this link, it's going to then pull up information. I'll move myself out of the way here. Information on the side. Specifically, I can buy over here. What's interesting, again, is, especially from a search perspective, is I don't need to leave Google to do all of this. It's keeping it right here. So on one hand, it's very useful, but if you depend on people coming to your website, that has significant impacts on things. I can then ask follow-up questions. So if I wanted to say, something like my budget is $800, what should I be looking at? So I'm going to do the same process. It's going to do multiple searches. It's going to look at multiple sources, and then it's going to give me refined results based off of that. Where if I were on traditional Google search, I'd probably do best phone camera 2025 under $800. It's still going to give me the AI overview now. It gives me this information. It's different and it's not building off of itself. But all of that to say, going back to our slides here, that's how it works. So it's doing multiple searches, it's pulling in that information, and then it's allowing you to iterate and to ask other questions off of that initial query and results. So now, how do you access Google AI mode? They are rolling it out to US users, so you may already have access to it. You need to have a personal Gmail account. It's currently, as of the beginning of June 2025, not available in workspace accounts. But if you go to Google, you may just see AI mode right here. And then if you were to click on that, it then prompts you into AI mode. You can also go to, if you just go to google.com/AI mode, it'll bring you straight to the AI mode search interface here. So that's generally how you do it. In some cases, you may be prompted with a wait list. If you are, that usually gets approved very quickly. You can also enable it in Google Labs, and that looks like, let me pull this over here. But if you go to labs.google.com, you can turn on AI mode and you can access it that way. But again, they are rolling this all out. And so you may just have access to it already if you're in the US. They will start to roll out into other areas as well. So AI mode, we've touched on this, but it's conversational. It's going to change how people search. Instead of saying things like best phone camera 2025, you'll just start to talk to it differently. You'll start to say things like, I need a new phone, this is my budget. It'll be more conversational. So that's just happening already as people get comfortable with things like ChatGPT. There's deep search that's going to allow you to do expert level, fully cited reports. It'll analyze hundreds of sources simultaneously. It's going to start to add in personal context, and so you can connect like your Gmail account or the Google Apps, and so it will know more about you, whether that's good or bad or what you want. That will be happening or at least available. It'll allow you to do complex analysis, so you can create charts and graphs on the fly. It'll have real-time data for sports and finance. It'll start to get into agentic features, and so not just doing searches, but actually helping you book appointments, reservations, tickets. That's all coming. So it's exciting and it's new, and we're going to continue to learn. So I want to do a couple of demos here just to look at how this works. So, best camping chairs under 100 for backpacking. I have not done these searches previously, so we are going to just kick it off and go live. 5 searches, it's looking at 65 sites, getting shopping info, and then it's giving me, the list of camping chairs here. If I click on the REI Co-op FlexLight chair, again, it opens up this window here. Well, then it will give me different stores that I can buy the chair from. Let's see if it gives me one that has, here there's multiple stores now. So like, REI's coming up, Amazon's coming up, Cascade's coming up. This is all just super interesting from a search and SEO perspective of how I can, ask more questions. I can look at different stores here. It gives the pricing all there. If you're doing e-commerce and you are not, if you are not well optimized, like you're going to be toast. All right, next one, trip planning. So Nashville weekend trip for foodies who love music. I'll throw that in there and we'll see what it does. But again, 6 searches. I looked at 112 sites or so. And it gives me an itinerary with places to check out and to explore and restaurants to go to, additional tips. And then here, I think naturally, I really like burgers. Where should I head? And then it should build off of this same search for me. That's giving me, again, list of burger places here, pulling in map pack and so forth. And so that is all just interesting. And what does software comparison for specific business? Okay, that's a crappy search. All right, moving forward. So then how does this impact websites and publishers and some initial stats that have come out? Let me pull up my sources here to make sure that we have this correct. But there's a 34.5% click-through rate drop for top ranking pages with AI overview. So this isn't just AI mode, but for AI overview. If the AI overview is showing up. We're seeing about a 35% drop in click-through rate for the top ranking page. That's a big deal. We're seeing this across our clients to where we're getting more impressions than we've ever gotten, but our clicks and our click-through rate are dropping, and those you can tie pretty directly to AI overviews. There's another report had a 15.49% click-through rate decline. So different numbers here from different sources, but we are seeing less people click through to websites when AI overviews are showing up. We are seeing one report had an increase in branded keywords click-through rate. So that would point to building your brand is going to be very important. We're seeing 42.5% of searches showing AI features as of quarter 4, 2024, which is almost a 9% increase from the previous quarter. And this is only going to continue to expand. Let's move on here. Again, that 42.51% number, 8% increase there. So all of this to say, like, search is changing. We're watching it happen in real time. AI pulls answers directly from content, but then you're getting fewer publishers with clicks, and so one that impacts their revenue. That's interesting. I mean, in theory, you follow that logic. If I'm publishing content, but I'm not making as much off of it, that may mean I don't have as much resource to put into content, which could decrease the quality of content that's out there. I could just lose interest. If I'm not making money off of it, I might start publishing less. And so there are interesting things there for content creators. And there's that. Let's move on here. Not quite to AI mode. I wanted to hit on quickly, what does it mean then for brands and for local businesses? I think focusing on branded content is really important. Local PR, authority building is really going to matter. Optimizing, I think you want content on your website, but you also want it beyond your website. So LinkedIn articles, Medium, and so forth. I did want to do one search here just for, I would do like best, let's do emergency plumber near me. Does this pull up my location? Kicking off fewer searches there. It just has me in Georgia. It's interesting that it does have the map stuff over here, but these aren't particularly close to me. So that's interesting. That gives me a bunch of websites there. What if I do, just say in Swanee, this is my city in Swanee, Georgia. They got me 5 searches there. It is pulling in local plumbers here. Let's just do on a normal Google search. If we do best emergency plumber, Swanee, Georgia. I'm interested. You have local service ads that are there. You have ads. You have AI overview. All right. So, Aaron Services, All Advanced, GoNet Plumber Pro. We have Aaron Services, GoNet Plumber Pro. We do not have All Advanced, so that's interesting. I don't know what they're doing differently than these. Down here, you have Reliable, Roto-Rooter, Mr. Plumber. Did those guys show up here? You have Roto-Rooter and Reliable down there. So, I mean, it is different than traditional search. It is pulling in from the Google My Business profiles here, and they have 4 results there. And you see reviews coming through. Then it gives a whole other list, and then more. That's interesting. I would say this is actually not as helpful at the moment. I'd rather, I think, see just the traditional Google Map Pack and search results here. But it's just interesting. It's changing, and so that's kind of the main point of this. What's coming next? It's going to expand beyond just US users. They're going to be adding in features more and more. I think eventually AI mode probably becomes like kind of the default interface for Google. There'll be personal contacts. You can integrate Gmail and probably other Google services there. I think it already does do real-time data visualization. So that's going to become more and more just what it is. So next steps, action items, go to google.com/AI mode and either try it or join the waitlist, and you should have access to it soon. Test things out. Do searches in AI mode versus traditional search just to see what's happening. I think from a marketing and SEO perspective, focusing on brand building, focusing on content across the web, not just on your website, building authority, that's always going to be helpful. But reviews, I think, are really going to matter and impact, especially from a local search perspective. And then try different things and then see. This is where things are going. So if you ignore it, you are going to be left behind, in my humble opinion. All right, I'm going to wrap up here. Let's discuss. I'd love to hear comments. So if you have made it all the way this far, go in the chat. Have you noticed changes in your traffic if you are running or monitoring a website since AI overviews? What are your thoughts on, will eventually traditional search just go away and it will all be AI mode? Are you seeing how your search habits change? Are you being more conversational in search results? So, all right, I'm going to wrap up there. Hope this was helpful. Would love to continue to provide updates on AI as it relates to search. So if you like this video, if it was helpful, go ahead and give it a like. Appreciate your time in watching this.